So, come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You've got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Bronco Nation? Happy Wednesday to you here at Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. We're streaming on the social media channels. That's YouTube, that's Facebook, that's X. And we're, as always, presented by our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and RowPaint.com. All your painting needs, make sure you hit up our title sponsor, RowPaint.com. Those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, all your painting needs, hit up RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. It's Wednesday, and that means we got the great hair of Mike Callahan joining us here once again for his spring analysis. Former defensive lineman with the Broncos, now dabbling in the media world a little bit with us. And Mike, always appreciate you. Spring game on Saturday, man. Spring was long, but now going pretty quickly here, almost done.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that the guys are ready to get to the spring game. You know, they've been going since the beginning of March, so a little over a month and a half now. So I know how those guys in the building are feeling at this point. They're ready to, get in front of Bronco Nation and get good crowd out there, get some support for the boys, and it's a good opportunity for the young guys to get their first opportunity in front of Bronco Nation and see what our crowd's really about. So it's an exciting time for these guys, and I know that a lot of them are really excited to show them what they've been working on during spring ball.
Yeah, they had the 1 week and then took the week off for spring break, and then now we're in their fourth straight week of the 3 practices a week, so technically 6 weeks of spring ball here with the week off in the middle. But
yeah,
the final week, I mean, you're laughing. Is that long?
Yeah, that's a little bit of a grind for spring ball. I don't know if I ever had a spring ball that lengthy, to say the least. That spring break usually comes halfway in between spring practices, and getting 3 practices on before a month straight is a freaking grind, in my opinion. So I'm sure that those guys are definitely ready to get this spring game, over with and get ready to go for summer practice and summer fall camp and season. So
The YouTube chat, the ICCU YouTube chat is already off and rolling here. Alexander, yes, I love the hair. Blue Turf says, let's get it on, Mike. I enjoy your insights. So excited. And if you have a question or thought for Mike, feel free to get that in the chat here. We got plenty to talk about. We're going to talk about, we heard from Ty Benfield yesterday. I know Mike has some thoughts on him switching over to receiver. I mean, I believe you got out and ran some pass routes at some point in the Clydesdale package. We need to maybe compare route running with you and Ty Benfield here from a defensive side. You're already laughing.
It's a lot better than my route running and my pass catching ability. I'm hoping that it goes a lot better for him than it went for me because it's not a great memory for me in my career.
Well, unfortunately, we'll hold on to that. We'll tease later in the show and get back to Mike Callahan as a tight end / wide receiver later in the show. We have a little bit of tight end talk as well. I talked to Matt Lauder yesterday. We'll hear from him. And then actually at 10 o'clock, Justin Schultz, the Boise State softball coach, going to jump on for a few minutes. They've got a big weekend series against San Diego State. So we will talk a little softball a little bit later in the show as well. But we've been kind of talking about our 5 kind of spring storylines, Mike, for fans and anyone going to the spring game on Saturday, kind of what to pay attention to, 5, kind of topics for this team. And I was going to get your take on a couple of them, but first it happened yesterday kind of while we were on the air or about to be on the air, but James Ferguson Reynolds entering the transfer portal yesterday. It's a punter. I get it. It's probably, you can fix it, but I know he had a unique connection kind of with the fan base here and being from Australia and everything. I know you're a special teams guy, but what was your kind of quick take when you heard about James Ferguson Reynolds entering the transfer portal?
Yeah, I was shocked. It's kind of one of those guys that's something you don't see coming. James is a great kid, and he was a great personality to have in that locker room. And I still love James. And like you said, he's a punter, so it's not drastically impacting the team. And James was an outstanding talent, and I'm not trying to take that away from James, but we have a lot of talented kids in-house. I don't know if you guys remember last year when James went down, we had a kid named Taryn Shive in the building, and he came in and he kicked the living lights out of the ball. And I know that, those guys have a lot of different kickers in the building. They have another Australian that came in that's getting healthy right now. And I know they're excited to see what he can do too. So wish James nothing but the best. I know that's probably tough on the fans. I know they had a very, very special connection with those fans. He had his own walkout song for when he was going out to punt during the game. So that's, it's a surprise and it's a shock, but I know that we're going to be okay.
And that is 3 players now, Mike. 2 defensive starters we've talked about. Now a starting punter. You throw in Prince Strawn, back in January or whatever. That's now 4 kind of projected starters of your 22 that have entered the transfer portal. So what do you make? I know with a group of 5 school, a lot of them probably get pilgrimage more than this, but 4 starters at a school like Boise State, that makes things tough.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit it. I think you brought up a good point. For a group of 5 school, we've had 4 guys go. That's not the same story around the country right now. And since we last talked about this, it's only gotten a lot crazier in this landscape. You have an SEC school where the quarterback's holding out because he doesn't think that $2.5 million is what he's actually worth. Things are wild right now in college football. And I think at this point we're doing a pretty good job holding on to some people here. And I know that 4 is still 4 collectively since the Fiesta Bowl. That's still not ideal. And we have that hurts when we lose people. I think that's a difference here versus other places. Is the fans and the coaches and the locker room. We have that special connection. So when someone leaves, it hurts more than it would at a school where you're seeing a consistent locker room turnover of, 20 to 25 guys hopping in the portal each year. Look at other people, look at like Washington State or Oregon State or schools like that, similar to us and that are going to be in our conference pretty soon in another year. Those schools have lost 30 to 40 guys at this point, and we're sitting here, 4. And don't get me wrong, those were 4, guys that I love and I care about. And I know the guys in the locker room and our community do care about a lot. But, right now we're in a very good position compared to a lot of other schools in the country right now.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about that. But they're all losses, all 4 of them.
Yeah.
And certainly we'll see the scary, I guess, scary is the right word, but the part that you have to remember here, Mike, is that the portal technically, I guess, open today. So it's open for the next 10 days, I believe. So all these guys that have entered, technically made the decision early. Now it's technically open for the next 10 days. And this is when this is the last window here where now the clock is officially on to kind of get this 10 days over with. And maybe Spencer Danielson's happy it's now officially open. So that means it can officially close here pretty soon and get past this next 10 days and hopefully know who you're rolling with here moving forward.
Yeah, they're gonna figure out in the next 10 days who actually wants to be here and be a part of this thing for the long run. And that's not a knock on the guys that have left or the guys that, in their mind are kind of like, okay, I want to test out what my market value is. But that's not really what we're about here. So if you're going to go test out your market value, you're gone. So at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to see what other schools might experience in these next 10 days. And I know that a lot of people around the country are freaking out, especially I wasn't sure if it opened today or Sunday. I'm not too in the loop with the transfer portal stuff, but I know that there's been a lot of improvement from what I've been hearing from various places. Just with our program, I know that there's a lot of improvement, and I know that we're in a good spot. And I don't think we're going to see a mass exodus like a lot of other schools.
Jordan says, it seems like Andrew Simpson open. I did see he tweeted out something this morning about officially in the portal and had his stats on there. So he said he's either happy he wasn't tampered with or ticked at whoever did and then pulled back the bag. Everybody has a different story. I know that. And we'll have to wait on that. Alexander says, I don't think JFR will be the last. I think we all kind of have an idea where your boy Braxton might end up, but you never know with some of these guys. I mean, you don't know. And I know with the international aspect of this, with a James Ferguson Reynolds, I don't think he was necessarily going for the bag. I know sometimes, Mike, there's just conflicts, whether it's with coaches or with whoever else. Sometimes it's just not the right fit. I mean, stuff just happens. It's not always about the money. It's not, there was all kinds of speculation yesterday. We don't need to get into it. I mean, I still think he was excited to be expected to be a starter this season. I don't think he was going to get out, even though I know his punting did go down in terms of the average yards per punt, like 6 yards. He struggled a little bit last year, no doubt about it, but I don't think he was in favor of losing his job. Sometimes it's just, it is what it is. And like I said, I've heard different things about, him and Stacey Collins or whatever else might've been going on, but I don't think in JFR's case, his was really about the money.
With the international thing, it's an interesting topic. With the international, I'm not sure what the guidelines are on that. I think you have to be in your home country to be able to.
Yeah, it's easier now than it used to be. In the past, it was like, oh, they're international, they don't get NIL.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they can. It's just a little tougher, but that's kind of a misnomer now. They can still get the money.
Yeah, they still can if he's back in country. So if he does work out a deal or it was about the money, then it would be, while he's home, he'd have to sign a deal. So that makes it a little bit interesting too in that aspect. But, I'm not sure what went into that decision. I'm seeing, I see a comment there that, they don't think that JFR will be the last, but, and even if he's not the last, I don't think it's going to be like something where you see, 10 starters go out the door like in 2 days and you're like, whoa, what just happened? I think it's going to be, here and there, someone that isn't expected to see a ton of playing time that wants to go to a school that he can compete for and where it's a better fit for him. I think you'll see things like that as this window comes up.
Well, you mentioned the fit. What do you make about the rollout and rugby kick strategy? BSU Bill says maybe JFR didn't like that he wants to just have the green light to boot it. You were obviously a part of special teams. What do you make of the strategy or things like that maybe playing into this for someone like him?
Yeah, with that, it's tough because a majority of college football uses the rollout and rugby kick strategy. You hardly ever see any form of pro-style punt in college football just because of the shield rules. And, there's another style of punt that's starting to be used that Rutgers made popular a few years ago that, I don't want to get crazy into schematics, but you don't necessarily use the shield. You get more speed and more, of a linebacker / tight end type body in different spots that makes it tougher for punt return teams to count their numbers and figure out their rules. So, but the rugby and kick strategy is, it's a very, very, very common thing in college football. So if that was one of the reasons, then that's something that, he's going to find at a lot of other schools. So again, not a knock on JFR whatsoever. Love the dude. Awesome personality. I'll stay in touch with James here and there. He's one of those guys that I'm not worried about losing touch with over time. He's just a great dude. And I think that's why it feels, like you open Twitter, you open social media. I felt the same way as the fans yesterday opening it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So
there's certainly guys that you don't expect
when you see it coming.
Yeah. You throw in the international part of it, which makes it tougher, but also just, his connection to the fan base and the dude that would wear like the kangaroo costume in the front row and all that kind of stuff. He definitely wasn't one that you saw coming, but you know what? I think at this point we've kind of learned to not be surprised. Shouldn't be surprised by anything that comes. And like we said, the window is now officially open. I believe it's the next 10 days or so, 10, 12 days where players can officially enter. And then once that's closed on the 25th, I believe it is, the night of the 25th, 26th, then you can kind of take a deep breath. And in terms of the tampering and all that, unless they're graduates or whatever, they can't really, or the coach leaves, you can't enter the portal till next December once you get past this. So they got to get through the next 10 days, hopefully not too much more carnage. And then, like we said, then you'll kind of, the coaching staff can kind of take a deep breath and plan for the season here.
Yeah. And one more thought on that. I was seeing a lot of people, talking about yesterday, they feel like they can't build, a personal connection to these guys anymore just because of the reality of you don't know who to expect would get in the portal. And after these 10 days, that's the thing that I hate the most about what's going on in college football. Don't get me wrong. The system's got a lot of freaking flaws. We've talked about it on numerous occasions already. But at the end of the day, the best thing about college football, in my opinion, is the fans. That's what makes college football so much different than the NFL. You have truly loyal fans. You guys are there for the guys through all the good and all the bad. I mean, 2023, I remember the New Mexico game, we were 4-5 going into it, and we had 32,000 people at the game. So, that's what separates college football from the NFL. And I think if once we get past these next 10 days, I know that everybody involved with the Boise State athletic department and the football program are going to do a great job navigating this landscape. I don't want to lose that. I want people to still be able to invest emotionally into this team and into these kids because they are going to have a great freaking team. I was out there on Saturday. I watched scrimmage too. The potential for this team is through the roof. They have a ton of exciting kids that want to be a Bronco and truly give a you-know-what about this program and the players in this program. So once we get past these next 10 days, I don't want fans to still be sitting there freaking out, not knowing who they can still be invested in, who that we lose. But, I think it was more than 32,000 people. It was almost a sellout at that New Mexico game. That's what I'm trying to say. This place is different for a reason. The fans are truly a difference maker. So I don't want people to sit around and, feel like, all right, I can't invest in this team because there are a majority of dudes in that locker room and in this program that are willing to do whatever it takes for not just the record, but for the fans here. So that's my biggest concern with the transfer portal. And I hate to see, a couple guys leave, but the majority of people in that building are committed to this season and this team and going as far as they can as a group.
Yeah, well, they're going to fact check you pretty quick. You'll get to know here if you're wrong on something. Somebody's ready to jump in quickly in the chat here and let you know. But and you know what? It's crazy because I shouldn't think this way, and I'm not trying to scare anybody. We have no indications or whatever. But I'm sitting there interviewing and talking to Ty Benfield yesterday, and I'm sitting there talking to Matt Lauder yesterday about next year and being here and all this. And I'm like thinking unfortunately the way it is, it creeps back in the back of my mind. Like, well, I guess in 10 days, I'll know if he really is going to be here next year. Like, and I have no indication those guys are going to leave, whatever, but I just, at every point until it's officially official, you just never know with any of these guys. And I'm sitting there talking to Matt Lauder about his, outlook for next season and all this. And I'm like, man, I know there's a lot of schools out there that would love to have Ty Benfield and love to have Matt Lauder and have probably tried to get two guys like that in the past. So it's just a weird thing. You need to be talking to guys like that who are still here in the back of your mind going, well, I hope they're here in 10 days.
Yeah, well, with Matt Lauder, I'll tell you, I'm not afraid to say this one. I'm close with Matt Lauder. Matt Lauder's not going anywhere. And I spent a lot of time with Ty Benfield on Saturday too, and that's another dude who I think he's above the portal in the NIL talks at this point. I think that's someone that's super invested in what's going on here. And, like you said, you can talk to any of these guys and you might feel, you're not sure what they're actually thinking. But I think with some guys, you can get a better read. And, Boise State guys just kind of have a different feel about them, in my opinion. And I know that, some guys get in and you're not expecting it, but some people are not as shocked as the majority are, to say the least.
All right, so let's move past the portal and negative, scary stuff and get set for Saturday's spring game here. We're going to hear from Ty Benfield in a little bit. I also want to get into our top 5 storylines here for the spring game and get your take on a couple of these. But first, we want to thank a couple of our sponsors that make this show free of charge for all of you to watch here on social media. And that includes our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and RowePaint.com. All your painting needs, make sure you hit up our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and RowePaint.com. Concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, all that good stuff. Hit them up at RowePaint.com. Hey, Taco Bell, they're hiring in local Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations. If you're looking for a job, they are hiring. TacoBellWorks.com. You can get more information. It's part of the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family, and they're big supporters. We appreciate them. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars for student athlete scholarships at Boise State. And they are hiring, like I said, and the food's pretty darn good as well. So make sure you hit up a local Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, there's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. Had no idea what I was missing until the Raines family made the switch a couple years ago. Couldn't be happier. And I can promise you, if you guys make the switch today, you'll be just as happy. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Snake River Pool and Spa Patio and Game, the SpaTeam.com. Been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Check them out. The SpaTeam.com, whether it's a spa, whether it's a pool table for your game room, whether it's a sauna, they got you covered. View their full inventory online at the SpaTeam.com. And if you need some Boise State gear, you know where to find it. The Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. You're looking for Saturday's spring game, a new sweatshirt, a new shirt, the Blue and Orange Store online, theblueandorangestore.com. The Blue and Orange Store, they got the best selection at the best prices. That clearance rack there at the front of the store, as good as it gets. And you can order online anywhere in the world at theblueandorangestore.com or just go to the Boise Town Square Mall there, the second floor next to Pro Image. All right, our number 5 storyline on Monday was the wide receivers and kind of looking at that group. I guess we'll circle back to that when we get to Ty. But, yesterday's topic was Maddox Madsen and just his development, his progression. But today's topic is one that I haven't even told you about. I wanted to keep you hanging here. I actually forgot to tell you, so I'll take the blame. But that I think's a massive storyline with this team, and that's the backup quarterback position right now, because Maddox Madsen clearly is the starter, clearly has improved, clearly is going to be, an elite quarterback. But you are, one sack, one hit, one, sprained ankle, whatever, bum knee, bum shoulder, sprained wrist. You're one play away from really, and again, no disrespect intended to the backup quarterbacks, but just a real lack of experience, a lack of depth, and a real concern if something were to happen to Maddox Madsen. So that was the whole deal last year. You had Maddox, but you at least, had a capable guy in Malachi Nelson waiting in the wings. Right now, they just don't have that. You can go to BroncoNationNews.com. You can read Nathan Carroll's article kind of looking at the backup quarterbacks. I know as the starter, Mike, a lot of times you went against backup quarterbacks in practice on the defensive side. What whether it be Caleb Annette, the scholarship guy, Max Cutforth, who started as a walk-on, has come on and earned a scholarship here, in the last year or so. They brought in a couple of junior college guys who just got here and haven't really done much to this point. But where are you with the quarterback depth chart, the quarterback room behind Maddox Madsen at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Just being out there and getting an idea of what's going on with those guys. I think, Caleb has impressed me so far. I think that he's taken a lot of strides from when I last saw him at the Fiesta Bowl to now. I think that I think that that's a kid who's definitely understands the urgency in that room to figure out who's going to be the true backup and who's going to be the third string. So, I think Caleb and Max have both done a great job of, being urgent and being, each day trying to get better, because they realize, Mad Dog was, the same situation for a little while. When Talon was the starter that year, it was Mad Dog behind him, and people were in the same talks of who's going to be the backup, and it turns out to be Maddox Madsen, and everyone's like, oh, we got this 5'10" kid behind him. Hopefully Talon stays healthy, and then Mad Dog gets in the game, and everyone figures out what Mad Dog is. So I think that. With that backup position, it's all about internal development at the end of the day. And Coach Hill is outstanding, and to have the opportunity to work with Coach Hill on a daily basis is going to be great for those guys. With that being said, it's also going to be interesting to see what they do with the portal, because the portal goes both ways, obviously. Those coaches are going to have full access and be able to get guys on campus and figure out who could be a good fit here. At the end of the day, you still bringing someone in at June to, hypothetically be the backup quarterback if they're not, over the moon with any of those guys in house yet. But I think that those guys have done a great job developing this spring. And by the time that we get to season, I think that we're going to have a capable backup ready to go. It just depends on if they're going to continue to roll with the in-house decision-making on that thinking, or if they're going to go through the portal route.
I'm kind of with you on the portal route. I've been saying that I really would like to see them. I think they need to go out and get somebody, but the problem is, as you know, Mike, just nobody. You just got to hope, I guess, somebody falls through the cracks at this point that doesn't have an opportunity somewhere or whatever. But you're not getting a guy that's, a lot of these guys want to play, and they're not coming here knowing they're backing up Maddox Madsen, a guy who started for a team that went to the playoff last year. And so the amount, which is, kind of why, frankly, that they had to bring in two junior college guys in the winter at this point that neither one of them have, been panned out, I guess, or at least look super impressive to me in practice. Not to say they won't at some point. I think one of them's already been moved to wide receiver. It's nothing against Caleb Annette. Scholarship guy came in. Maybe he's ready. Max Cutforth, local kid, started as a walk-on. Maybe he's ready. But I would love to see them bring in more of a veteran presence as the backup. But that's got to be tough, in terms of this era and guys wanting to play. No one's, a backup at Penn State leaving to be a backup at Boise State or whatever else. Or even a starter somewhere else wanting to back up. You probably do have to find a lower level junior college guy that just put up big numbers and find a diamond in the rough type. I don't know, but that's got probably the biggest challenge they're dealing with right now is finding someone that's willing to come here and be the backup.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to look at it from both, the going rate for a backup quarterback in college football is a lot more expensive than people might think. You look at Oregon last year, that backup quarterback was probably making $1 million. And another aspect in that is the eligibility of the starter. Mad Dog's got 2 more years of eligibility, I believe. And it's not like a portal guy's coming in, going to be the backup one season, you'll be the starter the next if you have a red shirt available, or so what and so forth. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can get in terms of interest and in terms of landing somebody. Preferably, I would assume they'd be looking for either a veteran guy that has some form of experience or even a young guy too, and bring him in and put him in the same category of a developmental quarterback. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. At the end of the day, the backup quarterback position is going to have to be a in-house development guy regardless. I think at this point, we're in the middle of April at this point, season's in 5 months. So, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that position. But at the end of the day, keeping Mad Dog healthy most important thing. We got the O-line to do it. He's a smart, experienced player. He's a lot different than 2 years ago in terms of his decision-making. Don't think he's going to put himself in compromising positions. And I don't think that this O-line, especially with what I just saw a couple days ago, I don't think this O-line is going to have a problem keeping Mad Dog on his feet.
Todd says everyone wants to play. Nobody wants to compete. They want playing time handed to them rather than earning it. But I mean, that I understand that. And that is, I understand that, Todd, and you're not wrong. But also, like, you do only get a certain amount of time to play college football. And in this era, the rules allow you to go somewhere quickly and not sit around. I mean, yeah, guys used to sit around 2-3 years, Grant Hedricks of the world, wait their chance as a senior. I understand that. But nowadays, like, I just think it's a little different, Mike. And it is what it is. You only have a certain amount of time to play, and you want to have a chance to play. And if that's not going to be somewhere else, you want to go somewhere where it is. So I don't, I beat up on college kids all the time for stuff like that. I understand it. I get it. But in this case, I totally get why you guys don't want to come into a place where literally the starter is an established starter that took his team to the playoff last year. And you can compete all you want, but the chances are you're probably not starting next year.
Yeah, and it's a lot different even from when I got into college football. I got in 2019, and that was kind of the whole idea of our program. You come in, you work for a year or two, depending on your frame. For my case, it took me 2 years to be able to be in a spot that I was ready to compete at a high level. And at that point, of college football, that's what's expected. But now, if you got a kid that comes in and he's got to be a red shirt, you already have the thoughts of where could I go next year that I can play? Absolutely, because I feel they might feel a certain type of way just because they're not on the field. As soon as they get their feet hit the building, and I hate that part of college football, but that's just the reality of the landscape right now. These kids want to play, and they have to come in and earn it at the end of the day. And when a kid doesn't and jumps somewhere else, I always look at that kind of sideways because I'm like, all right, well, what do you think that, the conversations about you are going to be when you haven't played somewhere? You just spent a year trying to develop and you have no game film out yet. Like, that's when you get kids that's when you hear the stories of kids not on a roster in college football anymore, and their career ended because they got out of a program where they were happy and taken care of because they wanted more playing time somewhere else. So, it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting time because I think everybody in the country is trying to figure out how to navigate it. But at the end of the day, that's kind of where college football is trending just in general. And I personally hate it just off of my experience. I think that those 2 years to get myself up 45 pounds to a point that I could compete were wildly important towards my success later in my career. So, yeah, I mean, I'm in the same thinking a little bit, but
defensive linemen, you also play 5 or 6.
Also different. Yeah,
I mean,
it's also totally different.
Quarterback, there's one quarterback. They don't usually change them very often. Like I said, it's very easy to beat up on college kids. Like, not want to compete. You're soft. All this day and age, they want everything handed to them. I understand that, but there's only 128 or whatever it is, 130 starting quarterbacks in Division I, FBS football. Yeah. That's a little different than I think a lot of these positions, receiver, D-line, whatever, where you're rotating through 5, 6, 7, 8 a game.
Yeah, that was not a fair example by any means.
No, but yes, and you earned it, and you got your playing time, and I'm sure it was gratifying too to not have it handed to you and use that development time. But I just I don't know. Quarterback's going to be very interesting to see what they do here, and maybe they decide we're rolling with these guys. But I would assume, they've already come out publicly and said D-line, wide receiver, they're going to be looking in the portal. We'll see at quarterback. I know you don't want to come out and just say that and tell your quarterbacks you don't have any confidence in them, but I would suspect behind the scenes, quarterback's a position they're at least monitoring to see if anybody falls through the cracks or if a deal somewhere else falls through, and they can at least, help a guy fill a spot for a year. Maybe some guys fine for a year, say 1 year they'll come here, be the backup, and plan to go somewhere else and try to get at least some practice tape. Or maybe some guy does gamble that, I hate to say it, but that Maddox Matteson's going to at some point have some sort of injury, or they're going to get their chance at some point one way or the other. And you see what happens. If you see you could clearly be number 2, then maybe that's something that somebody does does take. BSU Bill said, for the record, Malachi didn't look great in their spring game. I did see that they did not name him the starter. He's in for quite the battle there, it sounds like.
Oof, that's tough. Damn, that sucks. Malachi's a great kid. I love him. He's got all the talent in the world. He just got to put it all together. So, even though I think a tight quarterback competition is just what he needs anyways. So I think, over the next 5 months, I think he's definitely going to, I think that he's got so much freaking talent that once the pieces come together for that guy, I think that, the sky's the limit for him. He's just got to be, I think that tight quarterback competition there too. I think it's going to be good for him too. And I think it's going to be an opportunity for him to, finally get everything put in the right place and get everything ready to go, because once he's ready to go, that kid's going to be unbelievable. We all saw the talent. It's just a matter of fact of getting it ready to go. It's like similar to baseball when a guy's going through a slump. Once everything comes together for the guy, then he breaks through and starts batting 300. Kind of in my opinion, that's a good comparison.
All right, let's talk wide receivers and maybe a defensive player moving over to wide receiver here momentarily. But first, want to remind you about Jackson's and their $5 meal deal. 2 hot dogs and a kettle chips. You can get that for $5 at Jackson's. They also have their 99-cent coffee deal going on anytime, day or night, using your Let's Go Rewards app. You can get a coffee for 99 cents. Visit our friends at Jackson's. And don't forget, we do have a live edition tonight, 7 o'clock. We'll be at the James downtown. Riley Smith, Kent Riddle, the Riley and Ridge Show presented by Jackson's. I know they're working on a couple special guests for tonight, so make plans to join us at the James or just watch tonight on YouTube, 7 o'clock. Riley and Ridge Show presented by Jackson's here on Bronco Nation News. I mentioned Snake River Pool and Spa. We appreciate them. We also appreciate Lithia Ford of Boise. LithiaFordBoise.com. I know they're taking care of a lot of student athletes at Boise State with vehicles and things. Roger Carrion, Cage Casey, some other guys. So return the favor, folks, when you're looking for that next car or truck purchase. Make it at Lithia Ford of Boise. You can go online, view their full inventory, do a lot of your research and things ahead of time in terms of what you're looking for in your next vehicle at LithiaFordBoise.com. They update that thing daily, and then you just go on in like the Raines family did, test drive a couple of vehicles, and our salesperson Kim did a tremendous job helping us out, and then we were on our way in a couple hours with our F-150 from Lithia. So Lithia Ford of Boise online, LithiaFordBoise.com. Hey, Bauscher Real Estate, number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. When you buy or sell a home with Matt, you get to meet everybody in the picture there. The service is just unmatched, first-class personal attention that you get every step of the way with Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. So it doesn't matter how big or small your home is. If you're looking to buy, if you're looking to sell, let Matt Bauscher fight for you and get you the best value, the best deal. He's now part of the Boise State home team as well, so he's backing it up in terms of donations for NIL, in terms of donations for straight to the school itself as part of the Boise State home team. So Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate, online at BauscherRealEstate.com. All right, we're at practice on Thursday, and there's the first 5 or 6 periods of practice that are the media can report on, can take pictures of, get videos of, things like that, and then the bulk of the 2/3 of practice are embargoed, kind of closed to the media. We can stay and watch, which is something that has changed under Spencer Danielson. Very appreciative of that. We met with him last February before he kind of took over as his first full year, and said, hey, what are some things that would benefit the media for you guys to be able to do? What would you like to do? What have you not liked? We kind of had some give and take with him. Really appreciate it. Been very, very welcoming, and it probably doesn't surprise you, Mike, that he's been open with the media and wanting to kind of be a little more open, I guess, and helpful than some previous coaches here. But, one of the things was, hey, we would like to watch practice, particularly in the spring, because we can see the backup receivers. We can see the backup linemen. We can see other guys, backup quarterbacks. We don't need to report about them or give fans a depth chart, whatever, but it would help for us to kind of know who to talk about on shows like this and where guys are at if we could watch all of practice. And we usually would get ushered in to watch 15 minutes of special teams and stretching and stuff just to get a few pictures, but it didn't really do anything for us. And so a lot of times it wasn't even worth coming to. But now we kind of have an agreement with Spencer for spring, and also for I think it's Tuesdays and Wednesdays during the regular season. Fall camp is pretty much open in its entirety, but it's the same thing. Anytime there's a team drill, anytime there's a play being run, anytime there's an 11-man formation on the field, you cannot videotape that or talk about what you're seeing, but we are allowed to stay and watch. And one of the things that happened on Thursday, I kind of give the background there to bring it up, is I'm there at Thursday's practice, and I haven't been to every practice. This has been one of the springs where I've seen the fewest, just because I was down in Vegas for the Crown and the way the schedules worked with the Mountain West basketball tournament this year. So I haven't been to every second of every practice, but when I've been in town, it's been open. I've been there. And Thursday we're there, and I see a guy in an orange jersey, like running a route, making a catch. And I look over, and it's, and he's wearing a penny. So it was kind of hard at first to tell who it was wearing the penny. And I find out that it's Ty Benfield. And it was during a required, a closed portion of the practice. So we weren't allowed to say anything about it, talk about it. I actually asked 2 players about it and then was reminded, hey, that was from an embargoed period. Can you not use that part of your interview? Long story short, Spencer Danielson ends up talking about it on Saturday when someone asked about Benfield. But Ty Benfield has been getting a little bit of work at wide receiver in addition to safety. I tend to think it's just a fun spring thing because they're short right now. I'm not sure a guy that important to your defense, you really want to, toy with this two-way thing moving forward here. It sounds like they do have a package of plays for him at receiver. I don't know if it'll stick. We will hear from Ty in a second, but what's kind of your general thought when you hear Ty Benfield getting some reps at wide receiver?
Yeah, so I went to the scrimmage on Saturday, and when I walked in, within 5 minutes, someone came up to me and asked me, what do you think about Ty playing wide receiver? And I kind of looked at them and I was like, I laughed at them because I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, no, this is serious. I'm like, what? So, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is because, I would agree with you. It sounds like a fun spring thing. And, Ty's obviously ultra talented, ultra athletic. So that would make sense to get him in and, see what he could do at wide receiver. But from what I've heard from people, he did so good that now it's like, okay, is this a fun spring thing, or could this actually help our team in the season? And, If we get to the season and Ty Benfield's playing wide receiver, it wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the entire world. I don't think he's going to go full time on the field for 3/4 of the offensive snaps, but similar to a Clydesdale idea. You could say that we had 3 D linemen playing offense. There was one package for us, and we played. We did 12 snaps of it last season in game. But if he actually does help our team out in certain situations, I wouldn't be shocked to see Ty Benfield on offense at this point. After what I heard, because I heard that it was so good that I think that it's going to have to start getting the juices flowing up there, because there could be something there with Ty Benfield.
No. I know it's all about helping the team, what's best for the team. It's not about anything else other than, does this make sense for the team? But when you guys first were informed about the Clydesdale package, when you first got to be a part of that, what did that do, I guess, for the D linemen, for guys wanting to get on that as part of that package, and then for other teammates, watching you guys get out there? And when that package was called, I guess, and you guys are jogging out there onto the field, just what was that like, and what did that do to kind of at times maybe have more fun and break up the minutia of D-line drills at practice and things like that? And just what did that do for some of you guys on the defensive side of the ball to get to go play a little on offense?
Yeah, I mean, it honestly kept 3 defensive tackles completely engaged with what the offense was doing the entire time they're on the field. Because if you saw, especially when you see Ashton Genty breaking a 60-yard run, if you look at the sideline during those runs, you see 3 big dudes sprinting down the sideline, getting close to the goal line, because you don't know if he's going to go down, and we're going to have to go out there. So, and
probably the rest of the defensive line and defense as well want to see you guys get out
absolutely there. Yeah, I mean, like that's definitely something that everybody in the front wants to be a part of. I know Ahmed was pissed the entire season because he couldn't get on it. And we would go out there, and I know that the entire time that he was here, he wanted to get in on that thing too. But
they should have got him one pass at some point.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain. Well, I mean, I think that I scared them off with the D-line passing game after the Memphis incident. Where
take us through that. Not to bring bring back haunting memories, but it's early enough in the day that I don't think you'll have nightmares tonight about it.
No, and it's been 2 years now, so I'm okay with it now. Let's go with this. A defensive tackle whose hands by week 6 were completely sideways at that point, trying to make a contested catch. The amount of times I've practiced a contested catch in my life is 0. So I go up, Talon throws it. I know he slipped when he threw it, so it was in the air for what felt like 3 business days. I freaking see the ball in my hands, and out of nowhere, I see Memphis's safety's hand just fly through the ball. And on top of that, I'm a big dude, so it didn't look like it. I got smoked. Like, full-blown hardest hit I've ever taken in college football was on that hit. And I'm just laying there on the ground for like 5 seconds. Like, I just dropped a freaking touchdown in the middle of a game. This is going to haunt me the rest of my life. And, the pass never came back. At the end of the day, I turned into a blocking tight end on the backside of that pass.
I do remember how slow that play developed, or how long it felt like the ball was in the air.
My God. Yeah. There was nobody even remotely close to me. I'm just standing in the back of the end zone like, hey, I'm open. Like, you could throw it. And I see the ball come in slower than anything I've seen. It felt like I was playing outfield, seeing a ball coming down, and I got to get underneath it. And, I mean, at that point, I was a terrible fielder in baseball anyway, so I probably would have dropped the baseball too. It was freaking, not a great memory on that aspect. I think Ty Benfield will do a little bit better of a job than I did.
Now, I hate to bring back bad memories, but was that the point in the game where then you guys were going to go for it on 4th down, and then you changed your mind, and then the kick got blocked, and that ended up kind of being the beginning of the end there, or was that a different point in the game?
Yeah, that was the drop touchdown was the first drive of the game.
Okay, so it was earlier. All right.
It was early enough that I couldn't, I had enough time to not beat myself up over it too much. I got my first career sack that game too, which kind of watered down my sack. The end of the Memphis game happened at a completely different time. So I had a lot of other things to distract me from that dropped touchdown.
That was a rough game. That was a rough game. You guys, you guys pretty much had one, and that was a rough one.
There were a few rough ones in 2023.
Hey, I'm sure it was rough going into the locker room for you at times in 2023. It was rough in the post-game interviews. I'll just say that in 2023.
I heard about it.
There were a couple of times, and the Memphis game was one of them, where there were a number of, fairly easy things to criticize the coaching for, or to criticize, or to second guess, or to ask about. One of was that situation where they were going to go for it. You guys change your mind at some point. You go to kick a field goal. I believe it's blocked in return for a touchdown. That was a huge swing in the game. There was a couple plays like that. I do remember of all those games during that season, the Memphis post game was one where we're all kind of looking at each other like, who's taking the bullet on this one? That I can only imagine what the locker room and then the next day's meetings were like for games like that.
Not great. Not a fun memory.
I think it's a little more removed, where there's like still no coaches or players on that, so we can get the real stories, or maybe that's for the BNN After Dark subscriber only series we do at some point. But there's some.
I would say we're probably about a year out from everybody ready to talk about some of that stuff.
I've heard bits and pieces from Riley and from some other folks, there could probably be a book written about that 2023 season.
Absolutely. It felt like 3 years long in a 3-month season.
And you know what? You fast forward, and now here's a team that's looking like they're going for, trying to be a second straight playoff appearance. I know you were one of the guys, as we get completely off tangent here and off the rails, but I'll never forget the video when Jeremiah Dickey says, Spencer Danielson's your new head coach. You were one of that was the quickest reflexes of your life, standing up there on that one. I mean, that was we could just, people could, if there was any question or doubt, and I was one all along that was pushing for Spencer, just because I know him personally and was hoping he'd get it, and also just knew that he would do a good job. But you could tell in that instant how excited people were. But I know you were one of the guys that were the quickest to know what was going on there and get out of your seat.
Yeah, I mean, we were there. There was a group of 10 of us, our leadership group, that were we were on the front lines of that. We were scheduling meetings left and right, trying to talk to the most important people possible. In the middle of the end of the season, when we're trying to get to the Mountain West Championship game, we're scheduling meetings, trying to talk about the reality of the situation of if Coach D is not named the head coach, you're looking at, maybe a 50% turnover within the locker room kind of a thing. So, we were working our tails off, for college kids that probably should have had nothing to do with that, especially in this day and age. We just all came together and we're like, all right, even guys that weren't here anymore, that knew that they weren't going to be here, they were still right there in that room with us, being like, all right, like we gotta do what we can to put this program in the best position possible, and that's Spencer Danielson, and it very clearly worked out. But
I remember, and not even I don't know about the Spencer part of it, but I just with the previous head coach and the timing of him being let go, that's when I was told, quote, mass exodus if he had remained. So, I mean, you would know better than me, but I mean, you're saying 50% turnover ratio if Spencer didn't get it. I mean, half the roster. I mean, I know it's probably a little high there, but I mean, it was a reality that I don't think a lot of people realize. There was a big swing there in the middle of that season, and maybe why the timing was when the change was made in the first place. And that had to be weird. How'd you guys find out? Was that at all one of those things where you caught word ahead of time, or was that just shocked in a team meeting that Andy had been let go?
That was like pure. With Coach getting let go.
Yeah, I mean, you guys had just won big the night before. Probably guys were not expecting a meeting that early on a Sunday morning. What was that like?
Yeah, we just woke up and opened our phones. Some of us found out from social media. The other ones, were from a group chat. I woke up and I was in a group chat with some former players. I didn't even find out from guys on the team. I found out from a safety that's currently in the NFL. And I was like, I looked at it and I was like, oh, whoa. This is
it got out from Pete Thamel or whoever publicly before you guys knew.
Yep. So then we go in, we know what's coming in that team meeting. The Coach D thing, when he got hired, we didn't know anything about. And I knew that because I went in 2 hours beforehand with my roommate, and we were looking around the building, trying to figure out if we could figure out what's going on. And didn't get anything from anybody. They kept it pretty secret, and that's why the reaction in that room was as genuine as it was when he got named the head coach.
I'm telling you, I think your hamstring is still pulled from jumping up.
That was the most athletic thing I've ever done was jump up when he got named the head coach.
Well, once we maybe get into the offseason this summer, those are the kind of stories and things that I think are very interesting to folks. But as we kind of wrap it up with you, we are going to talk softball, as I said, in a little bit. I do want to hear part of this Ty Benfield interview, but I'll let you go. But what's just your final thoughts on the spring game Saturday and what you want to see, what fans should see, and just the excitement here for finishing up spring?
Yeah, I think that more than anything, when you go out to a spring game or you go out to a scrimmage, you want to see it as a back and forth battle. You want to see the offense do good things, and you want to see the defense do good things in different situations. And at the same time with the spring game, it's an exciting – I feel like the spring game is the best look into the future as you can get. You're going to see a lot of young guys out there after a little while once the big guys get in there and get their reps in. Once we get the young guys out there, there's a lot of exciting young talent in the building. I'm really excited. I'm going to single out this guy because this guy's unbelievable. You guys are going to love Bull. When you guys see this kid, I'm telling you right now, I don't want to put pressure on this kid, but that kid is a Sunday player, and he's been here for 3 months. So he will be a Sunday player once he develops and if he stays on this track. But he does things that are very unique that you can't coach already at 17 years old. And I'm excited for Bronco Nation to be able to see Bull. And I'm excited to see, everybody getting out there and competing. It's going to be fun.
Wow. Well, that's the name that will be. I've heard a little bit about him, and we'll hear more about here moving forward. Mike, we're going to hear from Ty Benfield here, but appreciate your time as always, man. Thanks so much, and we'll see you Saturday at the spring game, man.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Ty Benfield, what's he think about playing wide receiver?
What do you think about what do you think about that?
I mean, I'm here to help the team. If guys need breaks and stuff, because the receiver room is a little a little small right now with injuries and stuff. If guys need help and stuff like that, I'm here for it. I'm here to help the team. I'm not worried about accolades. I'm not worried about how cool it looks. I could care less. I'm just here to help the team. It's fun out there though, definitely. I miss it a little bit.
Is it just a fun kind of spring thing right now, or is it something you think could actually become something?
Who knows? We'll see.
Do you have any two-way players that you've watched or that you really liked to watch throughout your
Travis,
life?
Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter. A lot of other guys too. I forgot his name. He played with the Steelers. How am I forgetting his name right now? Yeah, but he played Cordell Stewart, and and Michigan player too. What's his name? Woodson.
Yeah.
That's huge. Me and Stockton were literally he made a joke and sent it to me on text. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. So,
how'd that kind of come about? Coach said he called you, but I mean, what was your first reaction?
Yeah, I mean, he called me. Good job, bud. You've been doing really good. I was like, appreciate it, coach. He was like, oh, I forgot. You want to play receiver? I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then it happened.
Did they just give you a couple of quick concepts, or?
Yeah, just some quick stuff, and I just learned it. Coach Miller's there to help me. Coach Potter, doing a really good job helping me out. I'm studying really hard so they don't have to be worried about my alignments and stuff. So
is it kind of you mentioned football being an escape for you or whatever? I mean, is this going over to the offensive side kind of a stress reliever or something different for you? Just something fun to do?
It's fun. It's really fun because in high school I played receiver, and my uncle Billy Neely was my receivers coach. Really my mentor and stuff. So I know he's smiling if he sees this interview, hearing about this news. So he's always believed in me and he's always coached me. So I'm using everything he taught me.
What do you, as the defensive back, think of you as the receiver when you look back at the plays you?
Definitely, if I'm guarding myself, I'm like, this dude's got some juice. He can give a little bit, and that's kind of surprising because he hasn't played that in a minute. But in all seriousness, just like honestly, I just really want to bring any type of help. If they need a guy to block somebody, they need a guy to get freaking ran over by a DN, like I'll do it. I just want to help the team.
You had the receiver stats in high school. Did any schools look at you as a receiver, or were you kind of focused on the defense when you were coming out of high school?
I think more schools considered it, but the defense kind of overlooked the offense, and they were just like, yeah, this guy's a safety. We want him more at a safety. So
did you just feel stronger at safety too, or?
Yeah, I mean, I felt really good at receiver too. Don't get me wrong. I felt good at receiver, but safety was definitely, I feel like, where I make my most plays.
So we saw you out there that last.
What translates between the positions for you? What helps so that when you're approaching a DB, you're like, oh, I might know what he's going to do because you do it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of recognizing defenses. Recognizing if it's man or zone, because that changes a lot. I've got a new respect for receivers and offenses because, man, that's a lot. They do a lot. They do a lot. Like Chase Penry, Trell, Bolt, Chris Marshall, all those guys, Cam Bates, I got a huge respect for them because their job is not easy. There is no easy job in football. I just got to see more of it now. So, really just recognizing defenses, knowing how to attack dudes, and it's really helpful.
Is this something you'd like to kind of keep trying to pursue here? Like I said, is this something, I know we're kind of joking about it, but is this something that has piqued your interest enough that you're going to try to spend the next couple months seeing if you can make it work? Or?
Yeah, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'll take my butt back to the defense and play straight that way. So, yeah, we'll see. I'd really like to, yeah.
Do you think at all about, I asked you about the next level and all that. Obviously, safety, you would think safety maybe is the spot you'd be looking at for the next level. But, do you think about that at all, or how trying to do this, or should you be spending all your time on that, or how do you kind of think about your future in terms of spending more time on the offensive side?
Honestly, it is what it is, man. If I happen to play receiver more and they're like, dang, you could be a good receiver next level, I'll do it. But I probably think it'll be safety. But again, it's all up to God. It's all up to God. He's his man.
Hey, Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. 13 locations in the state of Idaho, surrounding states. If you're looking for just that hometown grocery store feel, head up to our friends at Ridley's Family Markets online at shopridleys.com. Hey, Transportation Compliance Service. If you are looking for a job, Transportation Compliance Service can help you out every step of the way to get into the trucking industry, whether it's the DOT overweight, all the permits, paperwork. It's a local company helping out folks all over the world. Hit them up, Transportation Compliance Service. Had a lean feast yesterday. Love Lean Feast. LeanFeastMeridian.com is their website, LeanFeastMeridian.com. If you're looking to eat healthy, Lean Feast and our man Dave over there at Lean Feast is a tremendous option for you. The convenience of it, too. You can have it delivered. If you're just one of those folks that wants to not have to worry about making lunch at the office or meals, just they can package it for you. It's all customizable by the ounce, whether it's steak, shrimp, chicken, fish. You get your protein, your carb, your veggie. I know Brooke Thompson has been working with Lean Feast, and I know obviously Tyson, and so they are feeding the football team, the basketball team, others as well. LeanFeastMeridian.com, 2 minutes in the microwave, and you're good to go. And like I said, they deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley, and it's good 5 days in your refrigerator. So hit them up at Lean Feast. Leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/BNN. If you want to leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox line, we'll play that on an upcoming Bronco Nation News show. Speakpipe.com/BNN, and that is brought to you by Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades. Whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, an inspection, all your roofing needs, hit up Signature Roofing at mysignatureroofing.com. All right, obviously, got a lot going on Saturday with the spring game. Also a big weekend for the softball team as well, as they're hosting San Diego State in a big series over at Donna Larson Park. And nice enough to jump on and chat with us for a couple minutes here, Justin Schultz, head coach of the softball team. 28 wins, looking for that, I think, 730 win season in the last 9 years here, Coach. I know it's been a little bit of an up and down season, but obviously a big weekend opportunity for you here at home against San Diego State.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, BJ. It's a really pivotal weekend for us. We're right in the mix of having a chance to control our own destiny in the postseason tournament. And so, yeah, big weekend. San Diego State and us separated by only a few games. And so we got to play some good softball this weekend.
I was going to ask you about that later. We might as well just get to it now, though, in terms of the scenarios for the conference tournament. Not every team makes it, correct? For folks out there kind of wanting to know what's going on, I know you guys are sitting there, I believe, in 5th place right now at 7-6 in the conference. San Diego State's in 3rd at 11-5. But there is like I said, Fresno State's only you're tied with them in the loss column, and then it drops down to 8-9 losses with New Mexico and San Jose State. But what is the scenario in terms of the conference standings and how you make the conference tournament?
Yeah, as much as we want to win the regular season, we want the 1 or 2 seed. So this weekend's going to be huge and moving us up in the rankings. I think Nevada and Utah State, who are at the top of the rankings right now, play each other in a 3-game series. So there's going to be a lot of movement, and we just have to play good softball because San Diego State's a team that's always been a perennial powerhouse in this conference, and it should be fun. Weather should be good, and it's going to be an exciting weekend for us. So we control our own destiny.
Top 6, top 4. Everybody doesn't make the tournament, though, right?
Top 6 make the tournament, and then the 1 and 2 get a bye into the double elimination portion. So right now, that's where we got our eyes set, is trying to figure out a way to be one of the top 2 seeds, give ourselves a little bit more wiggle room in the tournament.
Okay, so I guess at a bare minimum, teams are fighting for the top 6 to give themselves a chance. But as you're saying, no, we want to try to get a bye in that first round, help us out in the bracket. And you're playing a team that's only 1 game ahead of you, I guess, in the loss column in the standings here. So you go sweep them or take 2 out of 3, and like you said, all of a sudden that it looks teams haven't played the same number of games here. I guess you guys are behind in a series, right? So it looks like that a couple wins can change things in a hurry.
Yeah, no doubt. We control our own destiny right now. Looking at Utah State's ahead of us, San Diego State's ahead of us, Fresno and us are tied. If we can play good down the stretch, we'll definitely be in the talk for that 1 or 2 seed, and that's all we can ask for. We're not that I want to get ahead of ourselves, but we need to make the tournament, so that's not really on my mind right now. It's about playing consistent softball the last 10 games of the season.
Speaking of consistent softball, you've certainly done that offensively. One of the top offensive teams in all of college softball, and that's kind of been the way it's been with you, obviously, in your hitting coach background, and the offense has certainly always been strong here. But this year, and we'll get into some of the individuals here, but just 3rd in the country in hits per game. I mean, you're top 10 in almost every category: runs, RBIs, home runs, batting average. I mean, I know you knew this team offensively had some talent, but to be where you are offensively, you got to be pretty pleased.
Yeah, we're doing a good job. We need to. It's funny we talk about consistency, and the numbers are really, really good. But we have to be just as consistent game in and game out. Our goal is to put a lot of pressure on the defense. We got to have more than 5 or 6 runs a game. That's just our motto right now. And so for us, it's about how do we have 9 solid batters in the lineup there's no easy outs. And I think we did a great job against Stanford at times, but we left some runners on base. And so that's what we're going to look to improve this weekend, is just building up on our average with runners in scoring position.
I know Sophia Knight gets a lot of the headlines, but I mean, Mackenzie Hanna, Mackenzie Butt, I mean, you guys got a lot of guys that, they're just, it's been impressive. It's up and down the lineup. There's no easy outs in terms of, your lineup. I mean, just what can you say about, and I guess that's the goal, right? Just to have up and down the lineup, no easy, areas for opposing pitchers to navigate through.
Yeah, you look at the top 3, Sophia Knight leading off, Mackenzie Hanna in the 2, and then Mackenzie Butt. They're a 3-headed monster at the top. I mean, tons of runs, tons of power, some speed with Sophia Knight. But then you go all the way to the bottom of our order, and you look at some of maybe the batting average, like Holly Farmer, not exactly where she wants to be average-wise, but she's over 400 in the on-base category. And so she's setting the table at the bottom for the people at the top who have been doing a great job all year. And that's what we preach. It doesn't have to look pretty. We just want you on base any way you can, and then good things start to happen. So that's been our motto, is just really no easy outs, and not too concerned about the stats, just how do we get on base, because at the end of the day, team with more runs wins the ball game.
I mentioned Mackenzie Butt, I think top 5 in the country in home runs. Mackenzie Hanna, in terms of runs scored, is up there. I think leads the nation or tied for it as well. But I mean, it all does come back to Sophia Knight and what she's doing and leading the country, I believe, in hitting, batting average, hits. I mean, I know some of it has to do with the competition you play, whatever. This isn't an SEC schedule. I mean, it is what it is. I understand it, or whoever the power conference softball team is. But you guys stacked your schedule. You've played some tough games. You just played a 3-game series against a top, 15 team in the country in Stanford. And you've got, like you said, your leadoff hitter leading the nation in hitting. I mean, it's easy to just talk about it and say, oh, she's having a great year. But, I mean, you put this nationally to be leading the country in hitting. I mean, it's pretty incredible what she's doing right now, and I hope folks realize that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, she was 4th in the country last year, and we had a top 20 non-conference schedule. This year our schedule is a little bit easier, but she's leading the country by a long shot right now. And so she's just somebody whose speed never slumps, and she uses her speed. She understands defenses, and she has a ton of different ways to get on base. And so I've been really proud of what she's been able to do at the top of the order. And then, she's setting the table for Mackenzie Hanna and Mackenzie Butt, who both have 16 home runs and 18 home runs, respectively.
I mean, I don't care who you're playing. This is just your 44th game tomorrow, I believe, and to be hitting over 500. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's I've never seen it before. This long into a season, I've had some really, really good hitters that I've been able to work with and be able to watch. But what she's doing is just special. And, like I said, the speed never slumps. So if she's not feeling it with her swing that day, she can drop a bunt down and beat it out to first base. And so she's an exciting kid. And if you're a fan who's just getting into softball, I think between the speed with her and then the power in the rest of our lineup, it's a fun combo to come out and watch.
Oh, you're getting, in the chat here, Coach, you're getting some legit softball questions here. They're challenging your when is Shannon going to get some starts here? Somebody wants to know.
Yeah, Shannon's doing a good job. I think I'm really proud of what she's done the last couple of weeks. Had a really good game at New Mexico to help us win that game, 6-3, 3 shutout innings. Pitched well at times with Stanford, and so she's growing every day. I think that's with her right now. I love what she's doing. She is only a freshman, and so at this point in the season, it's about trust, and she knows that, and she's gaining trust every single opportunity, whether it's in practice and live scrimmages or in those opportunities against New Mexico and Stanford. She's building trust, and really proud of what she's done over the course of the last 2 or 3 weeks.
And I remember talking to you, Justin, before the season started, and I asked you how the squad was looking this year, and you said, well, if we pitch, we're going to be pretty darn good. For as good as the offense has been, I know the pitching probably has been a little inconsistent, maybe at times a little frustrating for you. I mean, it's just kind of the one thing maybe holding you back in some of these games. But, I mean, what do you make of the pitching staff? And I know you obviously lost a couple big horses for you from last season, and you've been trying to replace that void all season long.
Yeah, I think we only returned about 20% of the innings, 15% of the innings from last year's team, and it's not an excuse. I think our pitchers have had really good moments this year. You watch them throw in a lot of big games and have really good moments. I think it's just the consistency piece with our whole team, not just the pitchers, but defense, offense. We just have to stay consistent, and so Abby Dowell's had really, really big moments. She's pitched in pretty much every game the last 16 games, 15 games we've played. Brooke Thompson is finally back to herself and fully healthy again, which is huge for us. And so I like our chances down the stretch. We're going to have to use all 5 of them the rest of the year. That's just kind of the way we're built this year. But I'm excited to see how they respond. Obviously, Stanford, not great on paper. I want to see how they respond. And they had a good bullpen session yesterday, and excited to see them at practice prior to this weekend.
As I mentioned, I think 28-15 program going for another 30-win season. Like I said, I think there'll be 7 out of the last 9 years. I mean, what just big picture-wise, I mean, sure, you'd love to be undefeated. You'd love to be first place in the conference, but still, having your goals ahead of you here and fighting for, where you're at. I mean, just big picture this season and what you were hoping for and where you're at. How do you kind of put that in perspective?
Yeah, I mean, in our time here, we've had a 40-win season. We've won the regular season. Both of those years, we did not get into the NCAA tournament. So for us, am I disappointed where we started this conference slate? Absolutely. I think we're better than what we showed those first 2 series against Fresno and Nevada. But we still control our own destiny. We get into the tournament, and we have a chance in the Mountain West tournament. We have a chance to go win the auto bid, and that's what this group is missing. Those seniors, I want them to leave having to experience it all, winning 40 games as freshmen, winning a conference tournament as sophomores, going to a championship last year as juniors, and now finally getting over that hump. Let's get into the NCAA tournament. And so that's really where our focus is how do we play good, solid, fundamental softball for 10 straight games to prepare us for the conference tournament, because that's really the most important weekend of our year.
And by the way, Justin Schultz, softball coach at Boise State, joined us for a couple more minutes here. We were talking about the pitching. I think you guys are, I was reading Craig's game notes, the only team in the country that has at least 5 pitchers with a save or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it just shows a testament to what we're doing. Allie's done a good job with the pitching staff. We've been talking as a staff, trying to figure out how do we piece them together and make every single look different so it's harder on the hitters. And so, yeah, we've been going 2 or 3 innings with one pitcher, moving to the next, going into save opportunities. And, yeah, I think we've got 10 saves this year as a staff. Every single pitcher's come in and had a save. And so it shows that they're ready to take the ball in high-stress situations. We're just really, once again, looking for that consistency of a day-in and day-out approach of them attacking the zone and challenging hitters.
Well, big weekend, and may need to hit you up off air, but I think that my son's baseball team, we're looking to bring a good contingent out maybe to tomorrow evening's game. We're going to blow off practice and come watch softball with the little team building event maybe on Thursday. And I know some of the dads also have daughters that play high school softball, and they want to get their daughter out there to see this series in this game as well. But 6 p.m. tomorrow, 6 p.m. on Friday, and noon on Saturday in advance, I believe, of the spring game. So folks can come over and check some softball out, go over and see the spring game. But I know you've got some promotions going on all weekend. Mental health awareness game is tomorrow night. I know that's a big push, obviously, at Boise State, but why is that important to make sure that you guys as the softball program are having a mental health awareness game?
Yeah, I think it's been a big push by the university. Our team's done a great job. Stephanie Donaldson, EJ, do a really good job. And so, yeah, it's good to bring awareness to it and allow our athletes to honor something that is a big deal in the college athletics in today.
Now, I love that. Sorry, Coach. That is a great thing to do. It's needed, and I love that. But the Friday night promotion, KTIK night, I mean, you went from a great event, and then even the happy hour, half-price beer on Saturday is perfect as well. But I don't know why you had to throw in, and I assume that means Johnny and Prater are throwing out the first pitch again on Friday night. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, as much as I love you, BJ, and I love Jay Tess, but Johnny Ballgame, he's my softball guy. He's always in the know. He knows all of it. And so, I get texts from him pretty much every morning, just, hey, what's the lineup going to look like? And so, yeah, always excited to help Johnny Ballgame and Prater talk about football, softball, and probably even get JD out there. But one day we'll get you and me out there, BJ. I know we were close last year to getting an event going, and it's been really, really fun. So I appreciate all your guys' support as much as I'm joking with you and Johnny Ballgame right now.
Yeah, I know Johnny just loves softball so much and loves you so much that he knows how to spell your name properly. I mean,
yeah. And then for all the football fans, that happy hour is going to be fun on Saturday. Get out there, come watch us, support us, and then head over and watch the spring game. It works out timing-wise pretty solid, but that happy hour is a great idea.
11 a.m.
Tailgaters.
11 a.m. starts the half-price beer at 11 a.m. out there on Saturday, and I believe that goes till 1:30. There's going to be a post-game Easter egg hunt as well. This is a conference series. I believe last time you had Johnny and Prater out there was the first night game, maybe when you played Washington, or if I forget the circumstances. But I'm just picturing like your softball, players, the other team's players, like wondering who the heck are these two people? Like you're thinking it's going to be the president of the school or the mayor of the city or some huge, dignitary. And then, you have Prater and Johnny walking out to throw out the first pitch. And I mean, your team was clapping for him. I mean, at least Johnny tried to pump the crowd up afterwards. But all I was thinking was everyone in the stands and both these teams and these umpires going, who the heck are these two out here?
Yeah, we told them they were big government officials and we needed to respect them. So our team was pretty hyped for them.
Well, that's Friday night, so we'll be looking forward to that. But tomorrow night, 6 p.m., huge series, huge game. What is the outlook? I know San Diego State always a tough team. You battled them in the conference tournament, I believe, last year. Just for fans wanting to come out and thinking about coming out this weekend. What's kind of the 4-1-1 on why this? And we mentioned the standings and a lot at stake, obviously, but two quality teams fighting for a lot here and should be decent weather.
Yeah, I mean, this has become a rivalry over the last three years. Coach Newman's done a phenomenal job down there at San Diego State. And so we came in as head coaches at the same time. And so it's just become a rivalry. We've battled off and on for the conference championship. And they do a good job recruiting. They've got a much older team than we do. They're very efficient in the circle and they've got some good bats. And so it should be high quality softball. The weather should be great. And so that's what you sign up for, is you want to play these types of game on the biggest stages.
Well, like I know you don't need our help, but we're going to have a nice contingent to help add to the crowd tomorrow evening and get some kids screaming out there and having fun. So looking forward to it. Like you said, should be great weather all weekend long. Big series against San Diego State. A lot going on with the spring game and stuff as well. So hopefully folks can mix some softball in there. And I know you guys are going to trying to make a strong push here down the stretch. So appreciate you as always for jumping on, Justin. Hopefully we get a big crowd this weekend, and then hopefully we can catch up with you again here soon.
Awesome. I appreciate the time, BJ.
Thanks, Justin. There he is, Justin Schultz, softball coach at Boise State. And again, they're rolling again. Big series though, so if you can get out this weekend, try to get out to Donna Larson Park, and they could use the support here. And if you haven't been, I mean, whether you're a big baseball, softball fan, whatever, maybe not, but the berm out there, you can have a beer and sit out there in the grass and watch a game, and it's a lot of fun. So if you're looking for something to do this weekend with your family or whoever. My kids really enjoy it. I know others do. And like I said, we're thinking of, blowing off practice to take some of our boys out there to watch some high level softball and hang out. So hopefully see somebody out there maybe tomorrow night. That should be fun. It's a big series against San Diego State, who they are battling with again for a top 2 seed in the conference tournament to try and get that bye. As they continue to try to get back to the NCAA tournament. So Thursday, that's the mental health awareness game at 6:00, KTIK night. We joke about that, but love Prater and Johnny. That's Friday at 6, and I assume that means they're doing their show out there all day from 3 to 6. And then Saturday, half price beer starting at 11 a.m. And they got the game there starting, I believe, at noon before the spring game. So that'll be fun as well. So appreciate Coach Schultz for jumping on, and appreciate you guys for sticking with us here. Over an hour and 15 minutes live show here on Bronco Nation News. So I know we mostly talk football, basketball, but we do try to hit up the other sports as well. And Spencer Aarons, the Canadian prospect, is scheduled to sign today with the Boise State men's basketball team. They have another hopeful signing, but my understanding is that may not happen today. With the point guard that they're trying to get as well. So we'll have to kind of monitor today is basketball signing day. So we'll be monitoring social media, and I have not been on there in the last hour to see if anything has happened. But I know Spencer Aarons, we're hoping to interview him today as well. We'll get that on tomorrow's show. He's in Team Canada camp and doesn't have a lot of available time, but he is signing today. And yes, this is the point guard, but my understanding is don't expect his signing today. I don't think there's reason for concern. I don't know if he's actually committed yet or behind the scenes or what, but I know they're hopeful to land this young man and are working to do that. And we'll see if they can get that done, but wouldn't surprise me if that doesn't happen today. I believe the only announcement today will be Spencer Aarons, the 4-star prospect who had Illinois, Gonzaga, some big-time offers and picked Boise State back in December. He will sign today. I've been communicating with him, so no worries there. He's going to sign today, and then we're going to try to get him on the show maybe tomorrow. And then I believe Dylan Andrews, the UCLA point guard transfer, is also coming in either today or tomorrow for a visit, and that's when it's expected to become official with him. And then might even be some media opportunities with him while he's in town once he signs and makes everything official there as well. And may already even be official. I don't know all the details there, but I know that there is no reason for concern with Dylan Anders. But he is coming in to get his first official visit of his next home next year at Boise State. So a lot going on. Today is signing day for the basketball team, as I said. So stay tuned to social media, to BroncoNationNews.com. We'll be all over that, and as well as everything else going on as we get closer to Saturday's spring game. As I mentioned, 5 things to watch in the spring game. There's a story every day popping up from Nathan Carroll at BroncoNationNews.com. If you are a paying subscriber, BNN 50 deal, you get that first year for just $50, and you can read all of our daily coverage of Boise State athletics. Bronco Nation News heading to the NFL draft next week to follow Ashton Genty. A lot of exclusive coverage there. So help us out. BNN 50 deal. You get $20 off that first year at BroncoNationNews.com. And again, if you are a paying subscriber, you can go on and read about the backup quarterback situation and what to look for at the spring game on Saturday, in addition to the wide receiver group, Maddox Madsen. We'll have 2 more, I believe, focusing on the defense tomorrow with our spring storyline, our 4th one tomorrow morning. So content, daily email. Mike Prater's got a column he'll be sending me as well. And so I know we're going to get that posted here pretty soon. But a lot going on at BroncoNationNews.com. So subscribe if you can. At a minimum, please support the sponsors, many of which you see behind the screen here. This is a free show you're watching on social media, and that is made possible by our great sponsors at Bronco Nation News. So if you are able to subscribe, that'd be great. But if not, at least help out all of our sponsors: Taco Bell, Jackson's, some of Snake River Pool and Spa, Signature Roofing, some of the ones that don't have a logo yet on the banner behind me. But subscribe if you can. We'd love to have your help, but certainly support the sponsors and tell them when you go purchase a meal at Taco Bell or get a new shirt at the Blue and Orange store, let them know it's because you heard about it on Bronco Nation News, and that does go a long way to help and keep them wanting to sponsor us and keeping these shows free of charge for you to watch every weekday morning, 9 a.m., even when the spring game's over, all the way through the summer. Weekdays, 365 days a year. I mean, obviously holidays and weekends, but we do this weekdays year-round, talking Boise State sports here at 9 a.m. Mountain Time for about 45 minutes to an hour here at BroncoNationNews.com. So subscribe, tell your friends, give us that retweet, that like, that share. Go ahead and subscribe on YouTube. That is free as we make our push towards 7,000 YouTube subscribers. And again, appreciate you guys. We'll see you out at the softball park tomorrow night, probably, or Friday night, maybe. We'll have to see what's going on this weekend, but certainly would like to, see everybody at 9 a.m. tomorrow with John Mallory. 9 a.m. We'll ask Johnny about his first pitch that he's getting ready to throw out at that softball game. And any news, basketball, football, transfer portal, signing day, we'll have you covered. BroncoNationNews.com. Subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff, and go check out BroncoNationNews.com to read some written content as you get set for the game on Saturday. And then if any news breaks throughout the day, we'll have you covered there on social media and on the website as well. So appreciate you guys for checking us out. Have a great, tremendous, awesome rest of your Wednesday. Looks like a beautiful day out there. May even try to sneak out to the driving range later this afternoon if we can get some work done. But appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, brought to you by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. We'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow here at BroncoNationNews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.